We live in a world trained to confuse appearance with authority. From a young age, we are taught subtly and relentlessly that power must look a certain way. It must be loud. It must be wealthy-looking. It must wear confidence like armor. And when power arrives without those familiar costumes, the world doesn't just doubt it. It rejects it. In the story, Kiera Hughes walks into a financial institution built on appearances without performing wealth. She doesn't decorate herself in symbols to earn entry. And because she refuses to perform, she is misjudged. That moment reveals something deeply uncomfortable. Many systems don't recognize real power at all. They recognize stereotypes. This is dangerous because it teaches society to respect surfaces instead of substance. It tells us that if someone doesn't match our expectations, they must justify their presence. But true power does not need to audition. It doesn't seek validation from those who benefit from its invisibility. History shows us this pattern again and again. Innovators, reformers, and leaders are often dismissed precisely because they don't look like the power structures they challenge. They arrive underestimated, and that underestimation becomes their greatest advantage. When we judge people by appearance, we are not protecting standards, we are revealing our limitations. We are admitting that our understanding of power is shallow. And the cost of that misunderstanding is injustice. The lesson is simple but transformative. If you only respect people who look powerful, you will always be surprised by who actually holds the future. Connor Hayes is not cruel by accident. He is cruel because he believes he can be. His confidence doesn't come from truth, it comes from protection. The institution stands behind him. The walls, the policies, the uniform, the authority of his role all whisper the same message. You are safe to behave this way. This is how prejudice survives. Not through constant hatred, but through comfort. Not through chaos, but through routine. Prejudice thrives when it feels institutional approval, even if that approval is silent. The most dangerous discrimination isn't always explicit. Often, it hides behind professionalism, policy language, and standard procedure. It disguises itself as efficiency. It calls cruelty doing my job, and because it is normalized, it becomes invisible to those who benefit from it. Connor performs his prejudice publicly because he believes the system will shield him. And until that moment, it does. No one intervenes. No one questions him. Silence becomes consent. This is the real warning of the story. Injustice rarely survives alone. It survives because it is protected by systems that punish disruption more than abuse. When institutions fail to challenge prejudice, they don't remain neutral. They become complicit, and every act of silence trains the next person to go further. The collapse begins not when Connor is exposed, but when the institution is forced to admit that it allowed him to thrive. Accountability doesn't just remove the offender. It dismantles the comfort that made the offense possible. Throughout the humiliation, Kiera never raises her voice. She never pleads. She never performs desperation to earn empathy. And that restraint is not passive, it is strategic. Dignity is one of the most underestimated forms of authority. We often mistake power for volume, anger, or domination. But dignity is power that cannot be provoked into self-betrayal. It is the refusal to let someone else's cruelty define your response. Connor wants a reaction. He wants Kiera to confirm his narrative, either by breaking down or by lashing out. Her calm denies him both. By remaining composed, she removes his control over the moment. Dignity does not mean silence. It means discernment. It means understanding that not every accusation deserves a defense, and not every insult deserves a reply. Dignity protects the self when the environment is hostile. In leadership, this matters deeply. Those who hold dignity under pressure expose the instability of those who rely on intimidation. The louder Connor becomes, the smaller he appears. The calmer Kiera remains, the more the room bends toward her. Dignity forces truth to surface, creates contrast, and when authority finally arrives, dignity stands untouched, while arrogance collapses under the weight of its own excess. This is a lesson for anyone who has been underestimated. Composure is not submission. Sometimes it is the strongest resistance available. The live stream begins as a weapon. Phones rise not to help, but to consume. The crowd senses entertainment. Public humiliation has become a modern sport, something to watch, share, and forget. But this story exposes a powerful reversal. The same visibility that enables abuse also enables accountability. The camera that was meant to erase Kiera becomes the instrument that preserves the truth. Connor believes he controls the narrative. He performs for the crowd, confident that authority and public opinion are on his side. But once the truth enters the frame, power shifts instantly. The audience doesn't need persuasion, only clarity. This is the paradox of public exposure. When cruelty is hidden, it thrives. When it is visible, it becomes evidence. And evidence has weight. We live in a time where injustice is increasingly documented before it is addressed. This is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Transparency does not guarantee justice, but it creates the conditions for it. The story reminds us that humiliation is a risk. Once something is public, it no longer belongs to the aggressor. The truth has a way of outlasting the lie. Connor wanted an audience. He got one. He just didn't realize they would be watching him fall. "I didn't know" is Connor's final defense, and it fails not because it's untrue, but because it's irrelevant. The issue was never that Connor didn't know who Kiera was. The issue was that he believed respect was something she had to earn. His behavior was rooted in an assumption that anyone without visible power was disposable. Human dignity cannot be conditional, cannot depend on wealth, titles, or recognition. The moment respect becomes selective, injustice becomes inevitable. Every system of oppression begins with the same idea. Some people deserve less until proven otherwise. That idea is dangerous because it flips morality on its head. It demands credentials for humanity. Kiera's interruption, that is exactly the problem, is the moral center of the story. Because ignorance does not excuse cruelty, it exposes it. How we treat people when we think they have nothing to offer us reveals our true values. Courtesy shown only to the powerful is not character. It is strategy. This moment challenges the audience directly. Would your behavior change if you knew someone's status? And if so, why? Ethical behavior does not depend on information. It depends on principle. And systems that forget this do not need better training. They need reform. Kiera's final act is not revenge. It is redesign. She does not stop at firing Connor. She changes the environment that allowed him to exist. This is what separates authority from leadership. Authority reacts. Leadership reforms. Anyone can punish an individual. True leaders examine the system that produced the behavior. Kiera understands that removing one person does not remove the problem. Without structural change, the same culture will recreate the same harm under a different name. So she introduces accountability, oversight, and policy rooted in dignity. She makes respect enforceable. She ensures that power is monitored, not assumed. This is how institutions evolve, not through speeches alone, but through systems that align values with consequences. Leadership is not about dominance. It is about responsibility. It is the willingness to make injustice harder to repeat. Even when the cameras are gone. Kiera's legacy is not her authority, but the transformation she leaves behind. She does not just reclaim her place. She makes space safer for those who will follow. And that is the highest form of power. Not control, but change.